It has been said, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Hey everyone, this is Mythos. Yes, this is a gaming channel, and as you can see from the title, I have some thoughts that I'd like to share about the unfortunate event with Charlie Kirk. And I've waited a little while to do this video for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to collect my thoughts. I have ADD, and I'm sure that will shine through in this video. Just wanted to collect my thoughts so I could properly convey them before I hit the record button. But also I wanted to see what the aftermath was going to be like in the wake of this horrific event. I don't feel comfortable showing my face on a camera, so I tried to think outside the box and see what I could do to work with the limited space that I have. So I hope you'll bear with me and stick with me through this video as I try to make this work. This channel is just starting. I've posted a few videos about some gameplay, and the other thing that I was holding back on is the optics of it. I really don't care if I gain any subscribers from this video, but I want to do the right thing and post my thoughts on this unfortunate event. With this event, there's been a lot of things that I've seen happen in my lifetime, but this one event has really left me saddened, irritated, and just really deeply bothered by this senseless act of violence. And I've seen this happening in our country for some time now, that the temperature just keeps getting turned up. And sadly, it's culminated into what we saw happen with Charlie. I've been alive for a few decades now, and I think that puts me in a unique position to share things that I can remember seeing through the course of my life. As I was growing up, my mother shared with me that, there will be something tragic or horrific that will happen in the course of your life, and you'll remember where you were when it occurred. And she shared with me, and again, even recently, about her experiences growing up when JFK was assassinated and Martin Luther King Jr. and the aftermath of that. When Martin Luther King was assassinated, she lived in a large city and they were sending school children, she was in school then, home on buses because riots had already broken out. I've seen, I'm old enough to remember, the attempted assassination on Saint Pope John Paul II, Ronald Reagan. And even then, it was like, why would somebody do something like this? And obviously, like any normal person, they would see what happened with Charlie and, say why. For some time, I've seen something wrong with not just our nation, but our society the world over. We don't value life the way we used to. We can't put a value on life. It's not possible. Every single person on this planet is beautifully unique in what makes them that person. And one life lost, it doesn't matter how that occurs, a mugging gone wrong, an act of war, fill in the blank with whatever reason you want. It's a life you cannot replace. You can't put a monetary value on somebody's life. In our own nation, I've seen where things have become so polarized that I can't wrap my head around it. I began to notice this, especially with President Trump's first term in office and the State of the Union addresses, where he would be doing a speech and people would not get up and applaud from whatever side that might be. Now, at the end of the day, sure, you may not agree with whoever's policies might have been enacted, or maybe you don't like that person, but you so respected the office. Like Charlie, I'm a Christian, a husband, a father. And just to be clear, I'm not going to get on my soapbox and preach here because it's not how I do things. I do go to church each week, not because I feel that I'm a good or a righteous person, but because I'm an imperfect person living in an imperfect world. And I'm just trying to be a better person. Charlie was somebody that many people looked up to for the work that he's done and the person that he was. I was at his website reading and read that he had received thousands of death threats during his life doing the work that he does or did. And he still went out to college campuses doing what he believed in, knowing that at any moment he could lose his life. And I think that takes a resolute belief and faith in what you do. To give us a little bit more context, I don't identify as a Republican or a Democrat. And really, at the end of the day, that shouldn't matter. I'll vote for whomever I feel can do the job and put this nation first. I don't care if it's a man or a woman, black, white, Asian, whatever ethnicity. Doesn't bother me. If they can do the job, let's vote them in. When I was growing up, I would dare say up to 10, 15 years ago, you could have civil conversations with anyone. You could talk about politics. You could talk about where you stood on things. And at the end of the day, you could agree to disagree and you still respected the other person. But now it's not like you can even do that. And I find that deeply unsettling because that's what our nation was founded on. I haven't consumed a ton of content from Charlie, but I've watched enough. I've heard people say that, he's a racist, he was a bigot, all of these horrible things, right? But I've watched videos and I've never seen him say anything malicious, divisive, or hateful. And I don't know where as a country we've gone so far off the rails that when a man's life was taken with his wife and his children present. I've seen the video. If you haven't, don't go searching for it. It's horrific. It's horrible. Don't watch it. What really bothers me then is that people would celebrate the fact that he was killed, post videos on social media, and start losing their jobs. Now, I don't take pleasure in anyone's demise or misfortune, but people start losing their jobs. And instead of saying, I'm sorry, this wasn't right, that wasn't the right thing to do to post this kind of a video, they then begin to point the fingers at everyone else that this other person is the reason that they got fired. No, you got you fired. If somebody came to me and said, I got fired because of, and they felt horrible, they felt bad, then sure. But when you begin to blame other people, you're going to get the same amount of sympathy and empathy from me that you showed towards Charlie, his wife, his family, his friends. And I'll still pray for that person, but I'm not going to give them any sympathy. I've seen this for a while now, and with Charlie's death, the question's hitting me even harder, and I think it's probably because I'm older, hopefully a little bit wiser, is that when are we going to learn that violence is not the answer? I didn't grow up in the best of households. My father was abusive. And at some point, we are faced with a choice, whether we realize it or not, that we either break the cycle or we repeat it. And here, the same thing. Violence begets violence, begets violence, begets violence. It is a vicious cycle that will never end. And we need to turn down that temperature. We need to turn down the rhetoric. And if we look at just even the response from the left versus the right, or the Democratic versus the Republican, however you want to word it, in the wake of this, the response from the Republican side, the right wing, again, however you want to say it, is memorials, peaceful get-togethers in remembrance of Charlie. And there were no riots. The way I see things in my life is that we are all of us equal. Doesn't matter what race, background, how you identify. You, the other person on the other side of this screen, this video, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I love you just the way you are. It doesn't matter to me how you identify, what political affiliation you have. Doesn't bother me. It's not my place to tell somebody else how to live their lives. I will give my thoughts, my beliefs, my opinions, and that's it. I'm not asking you to agree with me. If we look at, obviously, as you can see, I'm white. I don't know what the struggles of a Black person, an Asian person, Native American person, so on. I mean, fill in the blank with whatever ethnicity you want. I don't have the mindset that any one race is better than the other. Things can be done peacefully. One thing I remember from one of my history classes is Rosa Parks. On December 1st, 1955, she got done working. She was going home on a bus. This was back when segregation was still a thing. And she was asked to give up her seat for a white person. And all she did was she simply refused. And I say good for her. Sadly, she was arrested and fined for just not giving up her seat. But it helped to fuel the civil rights movement in the Montgomery bus boycott, where African Americans boycotted the bus system. And imagine this, there were no riots. You know, in the wake of this, I think it's absolutely beautiful and inspiring that the people the world over are coming together to honor Charlie. The US, Australia, United Kingdom, South Korea, just to name a few. It's humbling to see that Charlie had such an impact. And there have been no riots, peaceful get-togethers. And that's part of the reason also that I'm making this video, is that, again, I'm a husband and a father who I myself almost lost his own son this last year. Different circumstances, but it especially opened my eyes to the value of life and how short it is and can be. And simply, if I don't make a video like this, and I've spoken with my own family about what happened with Charlie, well, what kind of a husband, what kind of a father would I be if I didn't stand up and make a video like this, stand up for the right thing? I think that First Lady Melania Trump said it best in her post. Charlie's children will be raised with stories instead of memories, photographs instead of laughter, and silence where their father's voice should have echoed. Charlie Kirk's life should serve as a symbolic reminder that compassionate awareness elevates family, love, and country. I really don't think it could have been more beautifully worded, but the truth of that is also haunting, that now Erica will grow old without her husband. Charlie's children will now grow up without their father. And we really need to pray, especially for Charlie's family, but our nation. So, as gamers, what can we do? Well, we've already been seeing people being fired in droves from game publishers, developers, and I say we take it a step further. It's already occurring now that people are boycotting games, and I think that's what we need to do. This is the peaceful response that we can take, and if publishers and game studios are not boycotting or posting responses in the wake of whatever it is that's happened, then I say we hold them accountable. That's my call to action for this video. As of right now, PlayStation and Microsoft are a couple that I know of of that have done the right thing, terminated employees, and I applaud them. And sure, we can say, yeah, it was the right thing for them to do. Well, I would add that there are some that have simply turned a blind eye and done nothing. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section if I'm off on this, or if you just want to share your thoughts and opinions. Right now, like Charlie, we all need to be resolute in our faith and our duty to our country and be a light that Charlie was and wanted us to be. And I'll end this with a simple quote that I saw many years ago that has always stuck with me. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And until the next video, everybody, I hope you have a good rest of your week, good weekend. Love you all. I'll see you in the next video.